Good evening. I'm Joe Ward, Dean of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences here at Utah State University, welcoming you to the 2020 A Light on the Hill. This is the 10th anniversary of our welcoming event to start the new academic year, but it's the first time we've gone digital. But one tradition we are maintaining, thanks to our military science group, Army ROTC, we're going to start this year off with a bang. Wow. I'd like to introduce to you members of our college leadership team, department heads, program coordinators, associate deans. These are people whose job it is to help you be successful. These are individuals who care about you, people you can trust. So if you have any questions, these are folks you should turn to. Associate Dean Evelyn Funda. Associate Dean Eric Ryther. Associate Dean Matt Sanders. Dr. Phoebe Jensen, Interim Department Head of English. Dr. Tammy Proctor, Department Head of History. Dr. Damon Can, Interim Department Head of Journalism and Communication. Dr. Brad Hall, Department Head of Languages, Philosophy, and Communication Studies. Dr. Anthony Peacock, Department Head of Political Science. Dr. Derek Tollefson, Department Head of Sociology, Social Work, and Anthropology. Tom Lilgren, Director of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences Advising Office. Dr. Christy Glass, Interim Director of the Center for Intersectional Gender Studies and Research. Dr. Jeannie Johnson, Director of the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence. Carrie Bringhurst, Co-Station Manager, Utah Public Radio. Tom Williams, Co-Station Manager, Utah Public Radio. Lieutenant Colonel Richard Reed, Program Director, Aerospace Studies. Major Shane Sorensen, Director of Military Science. We have a wonderful lineup of speakers for you this evening. Leading off is your CHAS Student Senator, Olivia Hodges.
Hello, CHAS students. My name is Olivia Hodges, and I'm your academic senator for the upcoming year. I'm looking forward to serving you and hopefully getting to know you as individuals. This year, we are facing a unique set of circumstances. This does not, however, mean it will be an unpleasant year. I am confident that we can and will have a wonderful year. It just will proceed a little bit differently than originally planned. For example, I'm still speaking to you live at the Hill just from my parents' office at home. But with that in mind, I want to talk to you about the importance of taking risks. Since you are here, you already took a step out of your comfort zone. Coming to college is often one's first time moving away from home, and it can be a little bit scary. It is a fact that most risks are often viewed as frightening. However, as an individual steps outside of a comfort zone and takes more risks, it can immediately result in personal growth. When one is in a state of comfort, the brain can be resilient to change. Therefore, residing in a comfort zone means that when new challenges arise, one may not know how to react. However, when individuals take the leap and leave their comfort zones, the action creates just enough good stress to help improve focus, creativity, pace, drive, and results in a better preparedness for when new stressful situations arise. Like you, I took the initial leap and came to USU. That was scary, but it was simple because it was expected and it was a natural step in my life. The decision that really took me out of my comfort zone was choosing to seek ways to be involved on campus. While it pushed me mentally and emotionally and even induces a certain degree of stress, it is the risk that helps me become a better version of myself. Utah State has many amazing opportunities for students to get involved. This can include doing research, playing sports, working with clubs, volunteering, and being involved in USUSA on campus. Having been in student government all throughout high school, I thought that getting involved would be the perfect fit for me, especially in organizations that involved in USUSA. However, when I applied to multiple committees my freshman year, I wasn't accepted to any. I'd be lying if I didn't admit that that was very hard for me. It caused me to doubt myself. When my sophomore year rolled around, my mentors and family encouraged me to try again. I was reluctant and scared that I wouldn't make it again. I was comfortable just taking courses and watching from the sidelines, but I knew that if I didn't take the risk, I would never know if I could do more. So I applied. I applied for President's Cabinet, and I was luckily accepted. This risk brought forth several additional opportunities that helped me to do things and meet people that I would have never gotten to do otherwise. In short, I am grateful that I was encouraged to continue to take risks despite failure. Just 2 short years ago, I would have never even considered running for office to serve USU as a senator. Even as I filled out the application and campaigned to be elected, I was intimidated and had my doubts. However, my belief in taking risks to grow calmed that voice that whispered to me, "What if you fail?" Taking risks, even when I have failed, has made my experience at USU what it is. It has introduced me to lifelong friends, given me countless opportunities to serve the Aggie family, helped me network and make connections with amazing alumni. APS USU has the best alumni. And it has helped me to do countless other things. When I arrived to this gorgeous campus, I was just like you. I was nervous, excited, unsure, and hopeful to gain not only a degree and a career, but a greater understanding of who I am. I share my experience not because it is worthy of emulation or ideal, but because I want you to know that USU is the place to take risks. It is the place to learn from your failures and to pursue opportunities greater than what you believe you can do. Involvement doesn't always look the same, but I challenge you to find your passion and to get involved in something. No matter the challenge, I promise you that taking risks and putting yourself out there will benefit you in ways that only your involvement and experience can testify to. I'm so looking forward to seeing you this year on campus, and I hope to see you getting involved in things that you're passionate about. Go embrace the Aggie life and go Aggies!
Thank you, Olivia. Each year, our college conveys the Giraffe Award to a faculty or staff member who sticks his or her neck out to make our college stronger. The 2020 Giraffe Award winner is Dr. Marisela Martinez, Assistant Professor of Sociology, who's being recognized for the innovative ways that she promotes equity and inclusion in her teaching, research, and service. Dr. Martinez-Cola joined us in the fall of 2018 after completing her PhD at Emory University. Earlier, she had a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan and a law degree from Loyola University, Chicago. Let's now hear from Dr. Marisela Martinez-Cola, the 2020 Giraffe Award winner.
Greetings, amazing Aggies. My name is Dr. Marisela Martinez-Cola, and I'm an assistant professor in sociology. I've been asked to share a few words with you today about getting involved. Before I share with you, I want to let you know a little bit about myself. I've been here. I'm entering my 3rd year here at the university. I am originally from Battle Creek, Michigan, and I consider myself a Chicana, so I call myself a Michicana. My mother is from Reynosa, Mexico. My father's from Donna, Texas. And I have 2 younger sisters, and I'm the first in my family to go to college. Now, I wanted to share a story with you about my own experience. When I was accepted to the University of Michigan, it was a really big deal in my family because it's considered a fairly prestigious university. And they were so thrilled that I got the opportunity to be able to continue my education. And as I was telling my classmates back in high school, they said, well, of course you got accepted to Michigan. This one guy in particular who didn't get accepted said, of course you got into Michigan, you're Hispanic. And I'm not gonna lie, that got to me. And so I kind of went on to the University of Michigan's campus feeling so grateful that they accepted me. I would walk around campus thinking, oh, I can't believe they asked me to come here. And then I had this amazing professor talk to me. And she said, Marisela, you need to stop acting like Michigan did you a favor by accepting you. You did Michigan a favor. She asked me where else I had been accepted, and there were a number of other institutions where I was able to go. And she said, you see, you could have gone any place else, but you chose to come to Michigan. And having you at Michigan makes Michigan a better place. And so I'm here to share with you that you could have gone to any university, but you came to Utah State University, and your presence here makes Utah State a better place for it. Now, when you're here, it's time for you to find your place, wherever that is. After my professor said that to me, that campus was mine. And I want to encourage you to make this campus yours. I got involved in theater and the Socially Active Latino Student Association, SALSA for short. I was an RA. There was so many things and so many memories that I have as a result of it. And there's plenty of opportunities here on the Utah State campus to be involved. I myself am wearing an Aggie First Scholars, and that's for all the people that are first generation scholars like myself. I am so grateful that you chose Utah State, and I look forward to being able to hopefully meet some of you in my classrooms in the future. Thank you, and just have an amazing year.
One of the benefits of studying in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences is opportunities to network with our amazing alumni. We're next going to hear from two alumni who have encouraging messages for you as you start your journey toward your college degree. We're first going to hear from Dr. Marion Bishop. Dr. Bishop earned an English degree at USU and then completed a PhD in literature at New York University. Afterwards, she attended medical school at the University of Utah, and she's been a practicing emergency medicine physician in Utah for the past several years.
Hi, my name is Marion Bishop. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak at Light on the Hill. I'm a mother and an ER doctor, but not so many years ago, I was a college student at Utah State, just like yourselves, looking ahead, wondering what the next year would be like, wondering what the rest of my life would be like. It's an honor to join you as you consider these questions and embark on a new academic year. The theme for the Light on the Hill ceremony is the importance of taking risk, specifically the importance of getting outside of our comfort zones, gaining knowledge, and getting involved. As I thought about these things, I tried to think of stories of people I admire, or maybe even something meaningful from my own life. But the more I thought, the more I realized that by going to college in a pandemic, you are already in the midst of what may be one of the biggest risks of your life. You are outside of your comfort zones, and at a time of worldwide distress, you are valuing education and getting involved in something greater than yourselves. You have also likely experienced losses to get here. Some of you missed high school, senior year events, or internships or opportunities to travel because of the pandemic. You likely spent part of the last 6 months isolated from family and friends. Some of your parents may have lost jobs. You may have even lost family or relatives to COVID. Given all these things that are happening in our world right now, coming to college is an act of courage and a willingness to take on risk. It's okay to grieve the loss of all the things I've just mentioned and to feel frustrated that college looks different from what you imagined. What's happening in our world right now is stunning, disruptive, and painful. So if you need to take a moment every now and then and take stock of everything that's going on around you, that's okay. I find that for myself, about once every 2 or 3 weeks, I have a day where I simply feel overwhelmed and sad. But even as we attend to that grief and count our losses, we can also consider how we want to conduct ourselves in this momentous experience, and how even we can use these difficult experiences to help us grow. Now I'll share a personal story. Working as an ER doctor in the middle of COVID isn't easy. Every time I go to work, I deal with sick and scared people, some of whom are very close to death. In addition to COVID, I also have to take care of all the ordinary emergency room issues. Patients from motor vehicle accidents, folks who've had things like heart attacks or even appendicitis. And because COVID is so infectious, going to work also poses some risk that I might get sick myself. Although I'm really proud to do my job, sometimes it's overwhelming. As a mother, I also worry about my children. I have a 5-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter. Both of them suffered when school shut down. They've been lonely and bored. They've also missed out on many of their usual summer activities. I worry about the long-term consequences of their childhoods being disrupted in this way. One night I couldn't sleep. All these doctoring and parenting worries were whirring around in my head. Browsing the internet, I ended up taking a deep dive into stories of Vietnam prisoners of war. People like John McCain, who spent years living in terrible conditions and were frequently tortured. I was particularly moved by the story of Admiral James Stockdale. Years later, he explained that he survived not by staying optimistic that he would eventually be free, but by having faith that he could handle things, no matter how difficult they got. He also said something that brought me a lot of comfort during that long night. These are his words. He said, "I never lost faith in the end of the story. I never doubted not only that I would get out, but also that I would prevail in the end and turn the experience into the defining event of my life, one which in retrospect I would not trade." That someone who had survived something much worse than a pandemic would later see it as something he would never trade strengthened me. It encouraged me, and it made me straighten my spine just a little. What I mean by this is that I think the pandemic will be the defining event of our lifetimes. So the question becomes not if the pandemic will define us, but how. There will be losses to grieve for sure, but the pandemic also presents us with opportunities to grow. As it throws at us challenges like wearing masks, social distancing, attending school online, being distanced from friends and family that we love, and maybe even losing some of those people. As it takes us out of our comfort zones, asks us to get involved in ways we never have before, and forces us to learn new things, how do we want to respond? In James Stockdale's words, how can we turn this experience of the pandemic into the defining event of our lives, one which in retrospect we wouldn't trade? Thinking about the pandemic in this way has helped me be a better doctor and a mother. It's given me an opportunity to consider how I practice medicine and to become a better physician leader in the emergency department. It's also helped me look at my children's challenges differently. In the 6 months that my kids have had to let go of usual activities, my 5-year-old son has taught himself to read. I learned this when I found him under the covers late one night reading Captain Underpants. And my daughter is over 100 pages into writing a book with a good friend, most of which has been written in my backyard, sitting together in a socially distanced way. We also have a good family friend who, when she learned that because of some complications caused by COVID, that it would take her an extra year to graduate for college, decided to spend that extra year filling in pre-med courses. And when the pandemic is over, she's going to apply to medical school. Other people have found meaning in volunteering and advocacy, reaching out across socioeconomic and racial boundaries to help others and themselves. These are just a few examples, but as each of you considers the last 6 months, I imagine that with what you've lost, there also are a few things you have gained. And while I would never wish for a pandemic to come along and cause suffering, I am suggesting that we don't simply need to be its victims. We cannot choose that it is here, or even what we might lose, but we can choose how we conduct ourselves in its wake, and how we let it transform us. Who can we be if we use the pandemic to get involved, move outside our comfort zones, and learn things we might not otherwise have had the opportunity to learn? I love the idea of the Light on the Hill ceremony. It's a lovely and even a little bit old-fashioned tradition that helps build community and mark the beginning of the year. Because of the way light can symbolize knowledge and truth, I think it's an especially fitting tradition for a university community. That USU is built on an actual hill makes it even better. There is a New Testament passage that says, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Whatever your faith tradition, or even if you don't have one, attending college in the middle of a pandemic is an opportunity to pursue light and knowledge, and to join with other people who are doing the same thing. Together, you could even light an entire hillside. Looking back someday, you may even see that you turned a time of great loss and challenge into the defining moment of your life. Best wishes to all of you as you start the new academic year. Draw on each other, make friends, challenge yourselves. Stay safe and be well. Thank you.
We'll conclude this portion of our program by hearing from Judge Robert Shelby. Judge Shelby earned a political science degree at USU and then went on to graduate from the University of Virginia School of Law. After practicing for several years as a trial attorney in Utah, in 2012 he was appointed to the federal bench in Utah. In 2018, he became chief judge for our state.
Dean Ward, new and returning students and faculty of the Utah State University College of Humanities and Social Sciences, My name is Robert Shelby. I serve as the Chief Judge of the United States District Court for the District of Utah. I was appointed to the federal bench by President Obama in 2012. I am an Aggie and a proud graduate of the college. This is where philosophy professors Gordon Steinhoff and Richard Sherlock taught me to think critically. It's where I was constantly encouraged and challenged to communicate more clearly and more persuasively. It's where I read Voltaire and Machiavelli, Locke and Freud, Kant, Plato, and Confucius. It's where I fell in love with learning, developed an abiding respect for the importance of vigorous competition among ideas, and where I first saw glimpses of the personal and professional possibilities in front of me. It's where I also became a true Aggie. It's an honor to have a moment to welcome you back this year and welcome you to the 2020 Light on the Hill celebration. This annual event provides an opportunity, at least under normal circumstances, to meet as a community, to renew friendships, to make new acquaintances, to socialize with faculty and staff, and generally to celebrate the birth of a new academic year. Of course, this year, and the start of this year especially, feel anything but normal against the backdrop of the current pandemic. But thanks to the college's thoughtful and innovative efforts, we meet today in a new online platform to carefully protect the health and safety of everyone involved. Your safety is critically important, and you should guard it carefully. Not only your safety from the very real physical dangers presented by a novel coronavirus, but from so many other risks. You should do this in search for what I'll call ironclad, unyielding, complete and total safety. Bear with me for a moment. As your life journey delivers you through the halls of Old Main, through the shadows that fall around the quad, and through verses of the Scotsman in the Spectrum, as you navigate your college years, protect yourself at all times. Here are a few slightly tongue-in-cheek suggestions. First, stay in your dorm room and do not attend campus events, especially if you have to show up by yourself. Do all you can to avoid new experiences and new ideas. Do not seek out and engage with groups unless you are already familiar and comfortable with all their expressed viewpoints. Observe what other students are wearing and make sure you wear the same things. Do not take challenging classes, even when you're drawn to them, if there is any chance at all that those classes will interfere with your ability to get or keep and maintain a 4.0 GPA. And if you do take a class like that and you find it overwhelming, whatever you do, don't ask for any help. Keep anything embarrassing or unique about you and your background. Keep it to yourself. You do not want to invite criticism, or worse, exclusion. And in that vein, do not seek to befriend somebody outside of your group of friends who may need friendship. Instead, allow others to be alone and excluded. In fact, make snarky comments about them if they mistakenly express an imperfect view, wear the wrong clothes, vacation in the wrong places, or God forbid, post lame photos on social media. In short, construct a safe bubble to float silently through your formative college years. Of course, I'm totally kidding. I'm being completely facetious. I'm here today to encourage you to not be safe, except from COVID, and of course your physical safety, but instead to take smart risks. As you move through this important personal period of growth and refinement, I urge you to take risks for your own benefit, not merely in hopes of experiencing personal successes, but also for the essential growth and character development that is forged only out of taking risks, experiencing challenges, and even in failure. Do not underestimate the gift of failure. And what better time to experience it than in your youth, surrounded by students, faculty, and staff in this college who want to help you succeed. Practice thoughtfully risking your comfort now, then carry that practice into the life you will build after graduation. Those who learned to risk their comfort for the hope of something more are often the people who change the world for better. Robert Kennedy said this, Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. And Winston Churchill famously declared, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." Be courageous. I cannot help but also mention today recently passed Congressman John Lewis, a personal hero of mine, who, risking his own safety, hoisted on his shoulders an entire movement and carried it peacefully over a bridge between Selma and Montgomery. His body was recently laid to rest many decades later after a final passage over the same bridge. Congressman Lewis often invoked the concept of good trouble, a phrase I love, saying, quote, "Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." I love the sentiment of that quote. The risks you take, the good trouble you make now, need not be as momentous or dangerous as what Congressman Lewis or others decided to tackle. You might choose to volunteer an answer in class, to show compassion to a stranger in obvious distress, to run for student office, to study for a semester in Washington, or to study abroad. You might take intellectual risks. Please take intellectual risks, challenging your own views and opinions, not only open to new ideas, but eager to engage with healthy disagreement. Make yourself uncomfortable. Force yourself into new experiences. Be courageous. This time at Utah State presents a perfect opportunity to seek this growth. Get involved. Empower yourself through learning. Run towards the roar and take those risks. It is a great time to do this. The successes and failures and growth you experience here will provide a robust foundation for your future. So, work hard, play hard, study, 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 and have fun. But especially during these stressful and uncertain times, care for one another. Support your colleagues. Be generous and kind. Show compassion. Give others the benefit of the doubt. Strive to be the best expression of yourself, knowing it's a mark your arrow will never quite hit. Commit yourself to making the college, the university, and your community better places than you found them. Thank you so much for the privilege of sharing this time together. Go Aggies!
Well, I just want to thank you for joining us for the 2020 A Light on the Hill. As I said at the outset, this fall is going to be a little different than a normal fall, but it's going to be wonderful because of you and because of the care that our faculty and staff take for all that they do to help you. If we remember above all that we need to care for each other and help each other be healthy and safe, we're all going to be successful. Good night.